What is popping, everybody? Another day, another stream. What's going on? Using the amazing props.cash for stream today. We'll be back streaming tomorrow with Pick the Odds tomorrow and Sunday. I liked my Thursday schedule, but the MLB hasn't been nice to me with their Thursday scheduling. So Thursday streams for Pick the Odds have been moved to Saturdays as long as the MLB continues to not really have games on Saturdays, on Thursdays, which they've been doing. So we're back today, Friday, with props.cash like always, and then tomorrow and Sunday I'll be streaming for Pick the Odds. So just wanted to put that out there before we dive in. What's going on, everybody? We have a game underway right now in Cincinnati. We also have a game starting shortly, but we have a full slate. So give me 12 seconds to get the promo out, like always, and we can get started talking through all the games. We have a bunch of games today. We're going to hopefully have a great day. I have not looked at the slate whatsoever. This is my first time looking with you guys today, so I'll be taking notes on what we play. I'll be betting it on my side computer, and let's try to win some profit. So last show with Jake, he hit his best bets. He did well. Minor if he got screwed. McMahon came through with the hitch run RBI, did not get that double, or did not hit a home run, and Seager did not hit a double. So not the best stream from my perspective, from a player's perspective, but that's why we're back and getting after it now. All right, one more second for the promo, and we're ready to go through the entire slate and find some bets. We'll go through pitcher markets, home run markets. I really like the double market as well. Reds just scored to break that tie for anybody who has action in that game. But appreciate everybody hopping in, and of course appreciate props.cash promo code BetSmart for 30% off your first month. And now is an amazing time to take advantage because we're officially in August. Had some football last night. I have to figure out my football streaming schedule, and that will be figured out, of course. So a little bit more baseball, but football is of course top of mind. But let's get into it, boys. I'm pulling up the odds screen so I can look at real-time odds for the game lines. But, of course, props.cash has odds for player props. Baltimore, Chicago starts in 20 minutes, so we'll do a quick run through Trevor Rogers, Cade Horton. Total is 7, so I'm assuming wind is blowing in Chicago. We'll use props.cash's amazing weather feature to confirm that right this second here. Because if you have Orioles Cubs without wind, and as we can see, wind looks like it's definitely pushing in, which is definitely indicative of the total there. But generally speaking, you told me Orioles Cubs. I'm definitely seeing that one as a high scoring game. Home run prices. I was going to say that's all games. I was like, why are we seeing 4.5 to 1 with this weather? Now this makes a lot more sense, even though Seiya is still a 375. Crushes the right-handed pitching. I would have to assume that the left-handed pitching, I'd have to assume on Seiya there has got to be some value to the under, considering the wind here. Obviously, I know a lot of people don't really want to bet those big minuses, but minus 650 compared to pennies minus 942. I would have to think that there is value there. And I'm not saying go out there and bet 65 units or anything like that on say is under, but from a pricing perspective, that of course really is a viable strategy when you're betting things that have value. The price is the important part, and that's what's going to tell you if there's value. So it hasn't been going yard lately. Maybe he's hitting a little bit of a cool streak. He definitely has been batting 173 his last 15. Isolated power down as well. KT also not heating up whatsoever. Not going to sit here and say play, but listen, if you are looking for expected value betting, this under at MGM is actually a good bet. So say it goes yard in the first inning, I'll eat that. I'm not again going to put that on the record, but food for thought for the boys. But we will try to find, of course, a bunch of stuff to put on record. Total of 7. I mean, we can definitely find some unders, which is always fun to sweat, even though not as fun as betting some overs. We can take a look. I mean, Kyle Tucker, there's EV to the over. So this is a situation with the total being so low. The unders are going to be juiced, and you are going to find value on overs for certain players, but it's going to be tougher for them to, get to that point. But there's going to be, as you see with Kyle Tucker, underdog value on a home run, Rivers value, Divic to MGM, FanDuel. Nothing on Penny, which is worth noting that Penny's not even putting up a price for a Tucker home run, though he has been hitting the ball not too well. 119 ISO, only 1 home run in his last 15. A lot of red here for the Cubbies against Rogers, who not a ton of pitches this season. We can pull up some more about him, but I think even though this one's fun, and I'm sure we all want to be sweating something coming up very shortly here, I want to see his outs. So he has been pitching deeper into ball games, actually very deep into ball games. Good for him. Pitched well against Chicago, against Colorado, Tampa Bay, Miami, Atlanta. Now he gets his best offense he's been facing compared to all of these teams, and but the wind is not helpful for betting the overs. I mean, they're not a big. They're big. Lately, they've been a big strikeout team against left-handed pitching. On the season, they got some good guys toward the bottom of the order of big strikeout guys. The best odds for the over is at Penny, actually. So there's value on the under here at Caesars and MGM. I actually kind of like this a lot. I'm not going to lie. Bet Rivers minus 130 is a great bet. So I'm going to write that down. Rogers minus 130. You 4.5 Ks minus 130. Bet Rivers. If you have access to a Rivers account, that's a good bet. We see the expected value courtesy of props.cash. The hit rate chart's not going to. I mean, I guess it might give you like a ton of confidence here. He's getting 5 against Colorado. He had 3 only against Tampa. Did well against Miami, Atlanta, Texas. But clearly not a big strikeout pitcher. This is early, very early this year. Then some data from last year. So really his last just circle was 2025. Has gone over that in 5 of 8. But with that being said, I know CHC does have some pretty decent K numbers against lefties. But I mean, we have Nico, Kyle, who don't strike out at all. Carson Kelly, like PCA, hopefully does not. Very low percentile for his strikeouts and his juice. So props.cash is projecting. Let's see. They're projecting only 0.25 Ks. So they see value under there. So that's the icing right there. So Trevor Rogers under 4.5 strikeouts, minus 130. Bet Rivers. That's going to be our play for Baltimore, Chicago. So let's keep chugging down the board. Milwaukee, Washington, Jose Quintana, Mitchell Parker. Total here is 8.5 in Washington. Pitching, I should say, hitting conditions around the country are coming down. There's like a heat wave throughout the country. We saw a lot of the last couple of weeks. Balls have been flying. A lot of overs, a lot of high scoring. But the weather is not that kind of environment right now. Let's look at James Wood. I mean, he's been so freaking cold. And I don't even want to say it's like home run derby coldness, like, because it definitely is a little bit, but he was cold even heading in, but only 2 home runs in his last 20 games. His strikeout numbers are astronomical. Last 15 games, 54 PA. He struck out 50% of the time. That is absurd. I didn't realize it was that high. I mean, I have James Wood in fantasy, so I always like check his season stats, and I'm checking in like his losing statistics because he's striking out in my league of strikeouts minus 1 point. And like I know he had like 300 points going into the All-Star break, give or take 1 or 2, and now he's still at like 299. So he's actually a net loss of points, and this is the culprit right here: a 50% K rate in his last 54 at bats, 38.8 last 121. On the season now, his K rate is almost 30 full percent, which is not good. Against lefties, it's 27. So the James Wood, I don't want to say downfall. Like, it's really not that surprising that he's struggling, right? Like, so second-year player. Always did have some whiff problems, but I'm a little flabbergasted. But is this time to start fading Jimmy, though? I mean, time has definitely been there. His under bases now is minus 180. It makes sense. I'm not going to lie. Best price is minus 180 Caesars, minus 197 Penny, Bovada. There probably is some value again on this under for James Wood. Total bases, hits, runs, RBIs minus 110. He can't speak. He does still have a high walk rate, 9.3%, 7.6 against lefties. So he does walk a lot for like the HRRBI aspect of that. Against lefties, his hit rate 2025, 53% to the over. 50. Maybe this isn't the best way to go about it here. I'm looking for a fade, but maybe this is not the spot. Let's look at CJ Abrams. I know he's had a couple good games, but this is against left-handed pitching. He's been hot head to head. Who's been hitting lefties the best? Abrams left on left has been very good. Wood left on left has been very good on the year. The rest of this lineup of left-handed pitching has not been doing so hot. Milwaukee, where's the odds here? Hold on. Is it off the board? What am I missing? This odd stream could just be off, but I think I'm missing something here because I don't know if I saw any notes. I'm pulling up Underdog as well just to see if there's anything we're missing. Churio on the 10-day IL. Okay, I don't think it's massively impactful for the overall money line of this game, but Churio officially on the IL. That sucks for me entering fantasy playoffs with Churio. What are you gonna do? Let me see on a different odds screen. No, I'm seeing minus 144. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, so minus 147-ish, give or take, for the Brewers here. Quintana's not good, but Mitchell Parker. Let's see. Let's pull up Mitchell Parker actually quickly. I want to see how the Brew Crew has been doing against left-handed pitching. Not nearly as poorly as the Nationals, but overall not great. But Churio's out of this lineup. Obviously, he's on the IL, so that's a big bat that's not going to be in. We know the Brewers are just like a single-double, death kind of teams. You could see by these very, very low home run numbers. One guy with 20 in yellow, Churio on the horizon there for a 2020 season. Left-handed pitching, I think this might be just like a complete stay away game for me, honestly. There's nothing really to love. There's nothing to love, so definitely not going to force anything. I kind of like the Brewers on the ML. Let's pull up, actually. I'm curious what this is an Apple TV game, so that's always worth noting. I feel like there's always a little more pizzazz that goes into those. But the Brewers did win the series versus the Cubs after losing a series to Miami, but winning a series against the Mariners. So the Brewers, it didn't get too active at the deadline, which was great yesterday, by the way. Quick digression. If you guys weren't sitting there on Underdog or on X or wherever you get your news, watching MLB TV, refreshing, talking in the group chats yesterday, you guys were missing out because that was such a good deadline yesterday. I know we didn't see like an absolute stud get dealt, especially from like a starting pitching perspective, but those deals were really exciting and really fun. Let's see. Brewers, I think they got rid of. Well, we got Leo DeVry, who went to the Athletics. That's always the big thing with the Padres going crazy. We can check in on that one. I think I lost my volume for a second. That's my bad. Got a button right there. Sorry. Some steam though, if you didn't hear that on the Orioles game. But I like Brewers money line, so we're gonna write that down. The best price from like a rec book that we can get is let's see, just want to be consistent. I see a minus 152 at FanDuel. So we'll say minus 152 at FanDuel. Mill money line minus 152. All right, perfect. Let's keep rocking. Let's keep rocking. We'll find some more home runs. Let me actually check the books right now and see where there are boosts. So maybe we can use our boosts right now as well. That'd be a really fun thing to do. Maybe there's a parlay boost or just a home run boost or potentially both. So let me log into my accounts on my phone. We got FanDuel Summer Fridays, 30% profit boost, any sport, any bet type. Okay, so this is a 30% profit boost. The wager must have a final pre-boosted odds of minus 200. Okay, so I'm claiming that now. So if you guys are on FanDuel, you should have this profit boost. Any MLB specific? No. And I'll check DraftKings quick. I'll keep it to those two books for simplicity's sake. But of course, if you're gambling, you should have every single book. And as you see here by props.cash, amazing on the interface. They have the best odds from DK, FanDuel, Rivers, Fanatics, BOL, Caesars, MGM. You know, the list is on and on. Some DFS sites, some sharper books as well. I'm really excited to see when they start adding some exchanges and whatnot as well. But okay, big fly, home run, no sweat, home run on the king of sportsbooks, DraftKings. I say that in jest. Also a 33% to use on 2025 futures markets. Okay, that's fun. We'll save that to the end. We'll end the show today, the stream today, by putting a future in because I do want to talk some deadline. And comments are open, boys. So like, please feel free to write in on chat so I can see any questions, any comments, because I do want to potentially have some, some healthy debate here. If we're talking some deadline moves, things we liked, things we didn't like, more than happy to bring that up. So please feel free. But okay, we got that 30%, 33% futures boost, home run boost, and a 3-leg MLB parlay SGP or SGPX bet. So now we are going to make it our mission to find plays for said bets, of course, courtesy of props.cash. So let's go to the next game, Detroit Philly. I'm going to go game by game. I'm going to write down everything that we like, and then we're going to decide what we're going to put into these boosts. So I'll do a little bit more of like a rapid fire through some games. And I'm going to keep the totals here. We're going to try to target some, higher scoring games potentially for some of these parlays. It could be a money line lay. It could be some props. So let's see what we can find with props.cash right now. So I'm locked and loaded. So Detroit, Philly favorites with Ranger Suarez, Zach Flaherty going. Okay, Flaherty on the strikeouts has been pretty consistent. I mean, he's either like flying out his number or he's not even coming close. Could be a good alternate line situation. Fanatics plus price 115, DK 110, FanDuel 102, Prize Picks 137. So that's not a good Prize Picks square if you're a Prize Picks user. Philly last 15. K rates have been decent. Trey Turner, that's like 20.3 is pretty high for him. Harper 19.3. Schwarber's been Kane, but he's been tanking when he's not Kane. Naturally. And let's look at the Ranger Suarez side with the Detroit. Of course, going against the lefty here. Glaber leading things off. Jahmai Jones, Riley. Torque does well against lefties at the bottom of the lineup. Okay, they have some really good lefty hitters at the bottom. Phillies are at home, laying a minus 149. I think the Phillies are probably a better team than the Tigers are, like realistically. They got obviously Durant at the deadline, they got a Bader. But I don't think that they should be this big of favorites. I'm not gonna lie. Let's look at some home runs and see what we could find here. Total in this game is 7.5 as well. So expecting a lower scoring one. Let's look at some of the weather that we're expecting in Philadelphia. Winds blowing in. 75 is pretty cool, especially considering what's been on the East Coast. It's been like approaching 90s. Very humid as well. Schwarber, home runs. He has a plus 260 at MGM, 258 Penny. How low is FanDuel? It's the 250. It's not that low. At home this year, Schwarber, 2025, a lot of home runs at home. He's got overall how many did he has 37 on the year, so not surprising that Citizens Bank Park has been nice to him. But not seeing any expected value for Schwarber from props.cash. We're going to, of course, try to find some plus EV stuff. Harper, 390. He's been hot with the bat. Let's see the total bases. I know he's been cooking. Yeah, he's been absolutely cooking. Last 10 as well. Having some big games. Plus 105 for 2 TB. Expecting a tough one. See if there's any BVP against Flaherty. I doubt it. Yeah, Castellanos, a little bit of BVP, but not a ton to work on there. Get rid of that home split. Total bases, DraftKings plus 125. So compared to Penny at plus 114, there's value at Fanatics. There is value at DraftKings. FanDuel's got 105, so that's like a really bad price. I'm intrigued by Harper. Let's look at some pitch mix stuff. Flaherty, mainly fastball breaking, led up 13 of his home runs against fastballs. Harper does really well against the fastball. Breaking stuff does get to him. I want to see, let's go back to, Flaherty. Let's see, home runs. Let's go back to his screen actually quickly. Earned runs. He allows 0.8 home runs a start. Home runs have come from him on the, where's the data I'm looking for? Left-handed side, right-handed side. Let's go back to home runs here. Pull up Harper again. I want to see what side Flaherty's been allowing them to. I know props.cash has the data. There we go. 8 of his home runs have come against lefties, or 10, I should say, have come against left-handed batters, which makes sense. But still 7 against righties, so it's not like he really is like truly a side agnostic. So this really just is a expected value type of situation. And the hottest Philly hitter right now from the home run department is Schwarber and Harper. Schwarber's odds, I mean, I think he actually could probably piss on one. I'm not going to lie, though. He's 0 for 5 with 1K against Flaherty. Look at the other side. Riley Green's probably not the best one to look at, but let's see who's crushing lefties. Torque is 9. Let's see what this looks like here. From a pitch mix perspective, Ranger Suarez, only 5 home runs allowed to the fastball, 6 in total, very, very high ground ball pitcher. And 4 of his homers have come against righties. So teams really do stack the right-handed bats against him. It's a very traditional lefty. Very traditional lefty. Not a great like home run game as well with the weather blowing in. Low total. But they were going to skip Detroit Philly in terms of like plays, and let's just keep chugging along. But we're going to find stuff to fill in these DraftKings and FanDuel promotions. That I could promise you. KC Tour, who's on the bump, Waka Gosman. Give me all the Tour here, realistically. They're minus 150. I love Toronto here. Casey can't hit. Waka really is overrated. Against righties, let's see. Bobby, of course. Vinny's doing well against righties. A lot of home runs allowed. It's Gosman. See some BVP potentially. Bobby sees him pretty decently. McCall sees him pretty decently. Salvi, but again, really not a lot of totally actionable stuff there. Let's go to Waka and do a little bit of flipperoo here for BVP. George sees him well. Vladdy's had a tough time, but he's making contact. He's walking. He's just not seeing the results he wants. 2 doubles off of him. Pretty high ISO. Bo Bichette, he's been hot too. Let's go to some hitter props. Is this a Bichette game? 1.5 hits at 6.5. Total bases is minus 110 each way. Wind kind of blowing in Toronto, which is dome, so not like a really big factor there. Last 15 games, Vladdy's on fire. Bo's on fire. Springer's on fire. Joey Loperfido, big addition last year from Houston. He hasn't played a ton this year, but he's doing well the last 15. He's only got 58 at bats, so he's just come out to the scene hot. Tyler Heineman doing well. A lot of good options here. Total in this one's 8. Blue Jays do a little good run suppression here. Let's see Waka where he's been getting hurt. Lefties have had his number this season. Lefties have fewer home runs, but from an overall like hits perspective, lefties have a very much higher batting average. Not really much higher, but I have a higher batting average than righties. Pretty agnostic though, because the power is coming though against him on the right-handed side. What's a Vladdy home run today? I know he has been a little bit disappointing in the homer department, only 15, but he's still hitting like tanks. He's still so good. 475 Rivers, 450 Penny. FanDuel 360. DraftKings doesn't have odds for him. The no sweat is on DraftKings, so boosting at FanDuel probably wouldn't get us any good EV. DraftKings, we have a no sweat, so that's definitely going to be something we take more of like a shot on. So let me just keep looking there. So Vladdy home run 450, maybe not. HRR 140. He's been killing that. Total is low, but he's got Bichette behind him. Springer in front of him. Also, high walk rate for Vladdy. With Springer in front. Let's see, total bases 105. I don't bet a ton of TB. I'm not gonna lie. What's the double odds for Vladdy? 310. He has more doubles this season than home runs, as does Bichette, which is less surprising. But maybe we'll take a look at Bichette quickly again. His double is 290. His home run is 445. In this hot streak, he only has one home run for Bichette, so not really something I would go to there. But we can use this. 32 doubles. Doubles allowed against righties for Waka. 7 doubles allowed. 35 singles. Pitch mix. Fastball. Off-speed breaking. Bichette, not a big whiff guy, not a big strikeout guy. So this is all kind of in his wheelhouse. Only 0.1 barrel, so he's not hitting the ball hard. He's also not that fast of a runner, but they had 3 hard hit balls on the 30th in that slugfest. That was that Blue Jays O's game. I'm going to write down Bichette double for boost, but I'm not going to play it yet. But that's going to be something that we'll consider. I don't think that's a straight bet if we don't end up boosting that, but that's on the short list for the boost or for the DraftKings parlay boost. So we'll write that one down. Houston, Boston, great series. Hunter Brown, Cooper Criswell. Boston favored? No, Houston's minus 120 on the road. Downtown Hunter Brown has come back to earth. Unsurprisingly, honestly. Like, don't get me wrong, he's an absolute stud, but he was pitching too well, where like it was kind of what we always talk about here is, what comes up must come down eventually. That's exactly what kind of happened with Hunter Brown. He's obviously a great player, but that is not surprised to see him have some struggles like he did. I want to see like how these games went. Yeah, no game stats there. Oh, Marcus Stroman released by the Yankees. Some news there. Yankees got very active at the deadline, as I'm sure we all saw yesterday. Marcus Stroman officially released by the Yankees. So I keep Underdog up on my other screen, so get some notes there. Total in this one is 8. So again, runs are not looking like they're supposed to come in bunches here. I don't think, or I shouldn't say I don't think. I'm curious if or when Correa is going to be back in this order, and when other people are going to be, or when some of these deadline acquisitions are going to be making their first starts for some of these teams. I'm very curious because the Astros adding Jesus Sanchez and of course Carlos Correa are like really massive additions. Like, some of the most annoying things about backing the Astros this year is just looking at kind of their lineups that they put out. It was either such strong left-handed or right-handed lineups. They didn't have any lefty bats, and now they have Jesus Sanchez, which I really think is a good addition. And of course, you just have an absolute stud now in Correa. Pena coming back, hopefully, will be huge. So I'm definitely in on Houston. The whole AL West got better. It went from such a mid-division with the Astros just like, turning up, the Mariner, like with like no talent. The Mariners doing what they've expected to do, really just having a bunch of great pitching, but with no offense. They go and add, of course, Gino. Then the Rangers, they're finally getting hot. Their young core is finally coming like what they want it to be, like Josh Jung, of course, Wyatt Langford, Ivan Carter, these guys that were integral to or Langford wasn't there yet, but like Jung and Carter integral to their World Series win, and now they're heating up, and then they go add Merrill Kelly to DeGrom and Nasty Nate. So I think that's a really good The AL West got a lot better. Then you have Boston that went out and got what's his name? Went out and got Drake, Dustin May. I almost said Drake May. But we're seeing a projected lineup with Jesus at 3, Carlos at 5. So if they're both playing today, then cold weather in Boston makes sense here. But I think that the Astros should not be this slight of favorites. This line's a little bit fishy to me. But with that being said, I think it's a really good play. So not even going to dabble into the props all that much. I'm looking for the best price because this is something to track for plays. I'm going with widely available best price being Caesars minus 125. So I'm going to write that down. Houston ML. I can't type. Minus 125. All right. Let's keep rocking and we'll keep building out these boosts. Minnesota, Cleveland. I mean, we know what Minnesota did, trade their entire roster to get out of some debt before they sold the team. And the one survivor, Mr. Joe Ryan, who are the survivors? Joe Ryan, Pablo Lopez, and Byron Buxton. Ryan on the bump tonight. He was in trade talks all week long, all night long. GW on the other side. I don't even know who to expect in this lineup. Like NPCs for days. Christian Vasquez, Mickey Casper, Deshaun Kersey, Matt Wallner. Of course, you got Royce there, but Royce obviously hasn't been great since coming back from the injury. The Guardians are only minus 120 with G-Dub on the mound. Now, I think this is like a too good to be true because like the guys who are still there in Minnesota, like they're still fighting for their jobs. This is like kind of like the NFL when like teams are like not tanking, like they're like, oh, like everyone's expecting on week 16 for the Jets to, lay out a goose egg because their best players are hurt or whatever the situation is. They're out of the standings. But that's not really the case. I think players are playing for their own futures, their own contracts, their own pockets, their own families, their own tape, their own statistics in this case. With that being said, let's see any BVP. Definitely low because the guys with the most got probably were traded. On the other side, Jose had a tough time against Joe Ryan. He's got the most. Even Steven Kwan's had a tough time. So relying on their like ace here in Ryan, him and Pablo, but I think this is just a Guardian smash spot. Like I know Cleveland is not that good, but they're fighting for the wild card. They're only a couple of games out, which is why they didn't sell, I'm pretty sure. But Cleveland minus 120, another money line that we're definitely looking at. And from a total perspective, this game total is 7 also. So not a lot of hitters expected to really do anything. Good day for some unders. We have that Rogers UKs, which I guess are sweating live now. So I'll go in and check that. He had no Ks in the first and only 8 pitches, though. So that's not really so helpful. Of course, it's nice to get 3 outs with no Ks, but it's not as great when only 8 pitches are thrown because that's going to lead him to going deeper into games for that outs. But these, like, how is this only 665 for Steven Kwan for a home run? I mean, like, he has 9 on the entire season. Okay, 950. That makes a lot more sense. Who's putting the 655? Just Fliff. I guess they're showing like the worst odds. I don't know why they would do that, but 9-1 ESPN. This all makes a lot more sense then. But definitely not betting a Kwan home run, even with a boost. I know his power surge has been kind of coming together, but 2 of those were in the same game. He had a game of his life from a power perspective. It's not a great hitting slate, boys. It's just the facts of the matter. New York, Miami, Jazz back at home, or his old home, I should say. Jansen, John Carlos Rodon, 4.5 Ks, or 5.5 Ks. Caesars DraftKings 145. If you're a prize pick better, this is a good line. This is a good square just from a value perspective. Miami, not a big strikeout team. I've talked about this a bunch on stream with Jake, with Kyle, or when it's just me that like Miami A lot of times they are seen as like this big K team. They're really not. We know they've been heating up from the bats, or with the bats, I should say, big time. Humberto Hernandez. Miami kept on to Sandy and Edward Cabrera. This total is 8 as well, 7.5. So not expecting the Yankees to do much. But are we doing the revenge game narrative? It's a big ballpark, whether or not as impactful, but it is a pitcher's park. Chisholm, all his home runs come off righties. What's Junk? Junk is already. Trent Grisham, Belly, Jazz, Gio. What's his pitch mix like? He is a fastball, breaking ball pitcher. Only 1 home run allowed, but he hasn't pitched a ton, Jansen Junk. He has pitched a couple of good games, though. Yankees are -175, which, you know, at this point with the Yanks, hard to lay any big number with them, that's for sure. That's absolutely for sure. J-Dom, let's see who's kind of been hot lately. Not J-Dom, not Rice. McMahon doing pretty well in the Yankees uniform. It's just tough. Augustine, what's Augustine's odds? 520 for a home run. How's he on the double department? 24 two-baggers. 350 EV to FanDuel. This could be worth a FanDuel booster. Ramirez double. I'm writing that down for the potential there. So we have Bichette double, Ramirez 2 DB for boost. So we're building out boosts for everyone new in stream. Shout out to everybody who's hopping in. There's boosts on DK and FanDuel, and we're going to find slips for them. We're going to kind of what we're doing now is we're taking a look through all the games, writing down plays that we want to lock in individually, writing down some stuff to come back to, building slips, building a future slip because we have a future boost on DK we're going to use, and that's what we're going. Question from chat. From Chalk Exchange, my boy just texted me. If you guys don't know Chalk, epic Twitter follower, hell of a guy. Shout out to Chalk. He wants to know about stream. Bichette, Kurtz, Vaughn, Machado, HRR. He's talking about. So I'll get to all these. I already talked about Bichette earlier. Chalk, if you're still on, I love Bichette double is on my short list for the boost. So that I love the double. I definitely like the HRR there for Bo Bichette. So that's on the list, and the other 3 players. Well, Vaughn's on the Milwaukee now, so we'll take a look. We'll go back quick and do a backtrack to Vaughn, but Bichette definitely has my seal of confidence already. Where is Andrew Vaughn? There he is. -155 HRR. He's been cooking. That 11 HRR game in that Cubs one. -150 on Caesars. 150 DK. Let's see. Pitch mix wise, props.cash projecting 2.11. So just from a projection standpoint, already some good value there. Mitchell Parker, big time fastball, off speed breaking. Fastball's been doing pretty well for Andrew Vaughn. Last 15, he's batting 348. So he's just absolutely on fire, Andrew Vaughn. The season numbers are not as impressive, but lefty numbers are neither as impressive. I think this is a good look. I think just because it's -150 and the total is so low, but I think that this is a game that could be. Actually, no, it's an 8.5 total. This is the other games are the lower totals. I have nothing to say against you there, Chalk, for Vaughn. So when we get to Kurtz and Machado for those games, we'll definitely talk about it. But Chalk, you definitely we're on the same page there with Bichette, and I can't talk you off the ledge with Andrew Vaughn. So, guys, feel free to comment and let me know if you guys want any plays or any teams or any matchups to talk about, because we'll gladly go and dive into what you guys love. But we're going to keep rocking. Robbie Ray pitched against the Mets in his last outing, allowed 3 earned, or only 3 Ks, excuse me. 2 earned, 5 hits, 3 walks. In a tough one in Oracle Park, which is, of course, a pitcher's park there. Second time seeing a team. Did David Peterson pitch in that series? He did. He had 6. Is that the same game? 26th? It was. So we have a rematch of their last starts. -140. Or neither pitcher had a good strikeout game. Both went under their numbers, but both pitchers did have a good overall game. Strikeouts projected for Pearson 5.05 on the road for the Giants, who against lefties, let's see, not a huge K rate team overall. Devers is pretty high, Ramos pretty high, Dama is high, but the bottom of the lineup not massively big in the strikeout department lately. Some of the guys who have been big K guys are staying there. Some regression from Adames in a good way, some positive regression, some lower K rates there as well. I mean, the Mets. Let's see. Robbie Ray walks. I can't speak. Robbie Ray walks. Minus 95. So we'll stay away from that. Total here. It's not great weather in New York or hitting weather really across the country. It's 7.5 again. So another like under worth a game worth looking at the unders, I should say, for some hitter props, or we could maybe find a home run. Ray, I don't think allows a ton of home runs. Let's pull up McNeil just to get some numbers. Robbie Ray, 9 home runs against righties, so it's always going to be a righty against him, but not really a ton. Pete Alonso, we'll take the BVP because it's recent. There's not going to be a ton. We got Seti, though. Mets with Seti Mullins in the lineup for his New York Mets debut. I think the Mets did a good job at the deadline. I think they definitely overpaid for a couple of the guys they did take, especially some of those relievers. But with that being said, they're pushing the chips in the middle. They have deep pockets. They have great farm. They're analytically run now. So I think the Mets will be fine, and I don't mind them pushing the chips in the middle for this year. But on that same note, I don't think it's like the Mets. I guess I just said the Mets had a good deadline, but it's not that they didn't. They had a good deadline wherein they, stole some players or made some low key trades or got some more value. But from is their roster today better than it was on July 30th? The answer to that question is yes. Is their 2025 26-man roster better than it was 3 days ago? The answer is yes. So that's always something to consider. McNeil home run is definitely not who I'm looking for, but I don't really know if there's anybody I'm looking for, unfortunately, for the home run department with these games going on. Seti in his debut, left on left. I very much so doubt that with Robbie Ray on the bump. Home run came against Bassett, again a righty. So this home run came against Senzella, another righty. Against lefties on the season, only has 3 home runs out of his 15. So it's just like slim pickings on the board. Not in the sense where there's not options, but in the sense where it's just not, again, a hitter friendly board. But we're gonna find, and for people who are joining stream now, we have already locked in Milwaukee money line, Houston money line, Cleveland money line, and we're looking to build out slips for the DK and FanDuel boosts, and we're in the process of doing that. So LADTB, the Rays, my pride and joy, they're just finally dog. Shane Baz, Clayton Kershaw in Tampa Bay. This total's got to be high. This is a 9. Give me the over. TB/LAD 09. That is something I love. Putting that down as a play. That is a bet. That is definitely a bet from my numbers. We'll dive in more to props.cash for some hitters, but I definitely want to look at some home run props. I think this could be definitely the game to look at. No Ohtani with oh no, he is playing. And he's 160 to home run, which I was kind of scared of. 172 at FanDuel. I'm gonna go see what that boost equates to. Just out of curiosity, the FanDuel boost, because it still could be EV. Let's see what the price is with the boost. Batter prop, Ohtani 172. It's a 224. So it is the best price in market. It's not the most fun, quote unquote. Yes, we have Baz. Baz is a righty, right? Let me Google quickly. Why can't I remember? It's saying righty, and I feel like it's a lefty, but I know he's a righty, but I just check anyway. Why am I bad at this? Yeah, I know he's a righty. Got to double check myself, and props like guys once in a while. I hate to be that guy, because like boost can be more fun to use. Like we already talked about like Bichette and Augustine Ramirez double, but we're getting the best price in market with the boost. It's in the Little League, George Steinbrenner Field for Tampa. Weather-wise, not showing. This doesn't matter because it's not Tropicana, but we normally see some weather here. I'm curious. We're not getting that report here. Let's go back to see how many home runs Boss has let up against what side of the plate. 5 against lefties. Righties have more home runs against him, but I don't think that's really like that indicative. Could look at Will Smith actually. Let's pull up the odds here. I didn't lock in the boost just yet, but I think this is the game to do it. I'm thinking. 475 at Rivers, FanDuel 400, Penny 390. So let's look at it with Will Smith. It's 520. That's more expected value. I'm locking in Will Smith. So max bet, unfortunately, 10 bones, but I locked it. Will Smith plus 520 to hit a home run. That's my FanDuel boost of the day, boys. So now we have DraftKings boost to finalize, but that's outside the other bets we have. I'm going to write this one down so we can recap. But Will Smith home run plus 520. Let's write that down. FD boost. Okay. Will Smith it is. Will Smith it is. I see the Cubs scored. I'm curious if there's been any strikeout metrics there, because if you guys are on stream early with your boy, then we got Trevor Rogers under 4.5 strikeouts minus 130. And right now, fingers crossed, 1K, 19 innings, 19 innings pitched, 19 pitches. So that's gonna be a sweat. But it's a good start. So we'll check back onto that one. Pittsburgh, Colorado, a bunch of games left, and then we're gonna again finalize these boosts for the slate tonight. Pittsburgh, Colorado, in Colorado. So we have two of the worst teams in baseball going at it in the most fun park in baseball. Andrew Heaney on the bump. Bunch of NPCs in this lineup, as we all know. Any lefty killers? No, not really. Goodman with some good pop, and Jordan Beck with some good pop. So maybe Beck's the best bet. DraftKings boost can be on SGPs, so that could be a way to go about it. Could definitely instead go for that. We also have the no sweat. So on DK we have a no sweat. We have 15% boost and the futures boost, which we'll end the show with. Let's see, Jordan Beck. It's 375, 450 at FanDuel. Want to bet the no sweat with the best price is at DK. We could definitely do it on a parlay, I would assume. I'm just confirming with DK's house rules. Yeah, it can be a parlay SGPX, or SGP. So maybe we'll get a little bit more creative with that one. But I want to come back to this one. Chicago White Sox, LAA, Tyler Anderson, Shane Smith. Anderson under strikeouts. I know it's a very popular pick today. I know Kyle, who's normally on with me, bet it. Shout out to Kyle. Kyle just bets. Absolute GOAT. I see why. We can look at the hit rate charts. They're low. Chicago White Sox have been very good at limiting Ks against left-handed pitching kind of all year long. And recently, we can look at similar teams. So historical lines, left-handed pitching, last 20 will do. Logan Allen and Cantillo got him, but Falter, Heaney, and Imanaga, Christopher Sanchez, and Jesus Luzardo all went under against this White Sox lineup that's been seeing the lefties. Now, these lines were a lot higher, but still only Sanchez would have cleared that. They rocked Imanaga in that one, and they did have a great series against the Phillies. Sorry for all those Phillies fans who had to sit through that. Total here is 9. So we're in Angels Park, expecting some runs here. I think I'll be on that train as well. So Tyler Anderson, Shout out to Kyle. I'm calling this a Kyle tale, but it makes sense to me. Appreciate you, Kyle, if you're watching. Minus 0.35. So props.cash projections on the money with us as well in our analysis. Best odds in market. The 128 at FanDuel. You 4.5Ks. Minus 128 at FanDuel. I'm pulling it up on my phone just to get it locked and loaded. And make sure it's still around here. Pitcher props, Ks. Oh, it's 132 now on FanDuel. So not up-to-date odds here with props.cash, but minus 132 we'll track it at. And we'll play it at. Is that still the best, though? MGM 130. So we'll do MGM minus 130. St. Louis, San Diego. So I'll answer Chalk's question. We'll start with Machado against Liberatore. I could see why. I love fading Matthew Liberatore, though he's been a kind of a thorn in my side because he had a really good stretch this year. Earned runs, really good stretch. But this was the Liberatore I'm used to, getting shelled. But he had picked it up this year to start. Chalk wants to know about Machado, so I think I was looking at HRR, but we'll just look at the holistic view. Against left-handed pitching, Machado has been pretty solid this year. The Padres, again, another big deadline team. AJ Preller said, screw the kids. All I care about is the year 2025 and how can the San Diego Padres win a World Series now and not in the future, which I have a ton of respect for, honestly, for taking that stance and going at it and like full sending that. They add, as you see, Ryan O'Hearn, a left-handed bat. They added Ramon Laureano as well. Of course, Mason Miller in the pen. So they really upped a couple of other guys as well. But Machado, HRR is minus 150, minus 45 Caesars. Less 10. I mean, he's been cooking this number. Total here, we're playing in San Diego. Total is 7.5 again. Another such a low total. It's good weather. It's just a frigid night. Balls are just not going to be flying. It's just not that kind of like heat wave. It's not that kind of the pitching conditions. I mean, I should say the hitting conditions just aren't there. They've been there for weeks now, but they're just not there, unfortunately. I think it's still a fair play, Chalk, because you're not going for the home run over at 310, which I think is probably a bad line. Expected value wise, 360 at FanDuel, but I like the DVig from FanDuel, so that's not necessarily the best thing I would say. But the HRR I think is better for Machado today. A bunch of new guys on stream, so I'm going to quickly go through the plays. First of all, what is popping, boys? Right now, for live bets that we have that are still actionable and able to get down on, we have Milwaukee money line, Houston money line, Cleveland money line, Tampa Bay LAD over 9, Will Smith home run with the FanDuel boost, and Tyler Anderson under 4.5 strikeouts. So that's everything we have now. And if you're new, we are going to be building a slip for the DraftKings parlay boost. So stick around. We're still finalizing the legs we want to incorporate. Haven't decided just yet, but we have a list of plays that we are targeting for that boost, and we're going to lock that in whenever we finish going through all the games here. So 8/1/2025. So let's keep rocking. Athletics, Arizona. Chalk wanted to look at Kurtz as well. His HRR is 2.5. I mean, naturally, it makes sense. I'm not surprised to see a number like that by any means. Projecting 3.4. What's this total? It's got to be high. I didn't even look at his pitching, but we'll check in a second. 9.5. So that makes sense. And from the pitching side, we have Del Sclafani and Jacob Lopez. Now we know it's like basically over. But the D-backs they're acting like it's over. Got rid of Merrill Kelly. Got rid of Eugenio. Chalk, if you could bet the 1.5 with an alt line, like maybe the 2.5. I normally stay away from those, but let's see. Catel's also 2.5. Lawrence Butler 130. Langolier. I mean, the Astros got rid of Mason Miller. Excuse me, the A's got rid of Mason Miller, but The kid they added, Leo DeVry, is supposed to be an absolute stud. I know Jacob Lopez is hurt. Jacob Wilson is hurt right now. But this kid, I think, is going to slot in really well. I think that the A's did a really good job of retooling and getting some prospects that are really going to help them when they get over to Vegas. I think the A's are doing what they do. They get better kind of like around the margins. They keep restocking that prospect pool. We've seen some success recently with, of course, Kurtz, Wilson, Rooker, Soderstrom, Lawrence Butler, Langoliers. They have some guys, man. They have some guys. I'm excited to see what happens for the A's. I already have ideas of what I want to use the DraftKings future on, so we'll get to that in a second. But let's go to the final game, Texas-Seattle, and then we'll backtrack, and we will backtrack, and then we will finalize these boosts and go from there. Seattle won last night. We got Gilbert Leiter. Seattle is a big favorite against Texas. Seattle's scary, man. I love their lineup. I was talking about this in chat yesterday. It went from being one of the grossest lineups ever, like earlier, literally 2 months ago, first started streaming, I'd be sitting here laughing at the lineups that Seattle was putting out. And then now, when you have, Josh Naylor, you have Eugenio Suarez, and then you have Julio, who's finally heating up. Of course, Cal is the big home run threat. JP is just a good player. Randy's heating up as well. Numbers here aren't showcasing it last 15. It's been more like last 7. Polanco's a good player. Cole Young hit a tank last night, put one on Mars, which was crazy. This went from being, again, like same old Mariners, amazing starting pitching, terrible offense, not going to do crap, to holy crap, this is a good baseball team. I have Seattle futures. So before the year started, I took the Dodgers to win the NL, parlayed with the Mariners to win the AL at like 3.1 or 31 to 1. I'm very curious right now. I'll just check only one book. I'll check FanDuel because I have it open here. I'm just curious what that pays out now. Just out of curiosity. League winners. Seattle is plus 650 and the Dodgers are plus 135. So that is now 16 to 1. And I bet that preseason at 31 to 1. So I'm in on the Mariners, man. Quick digression here, but I'm in on the Mariners. Total 7.5 in Seattle. Of course, a pitcher's park. Let's let her walks. 1.5, 180, which is not surprising. He's just a walk machine. 2.5, 150. That's probably a good bet at Caesars. Walk rates pretty high for Seattle. 12 for JP. Cal with a big walk rate. Randy with a 10%, which is actually higher than I would have thought. Against righties is also 15.9 for Cal, 10.5 for Naylor. Randy at 11. Julio is a free swinger. JP's not. Naylor pretty solid as well. Polanco pretty solid. I'm locking this in. Let's see it. Head to head. No walks in the last start in June. 2 in his earlier start this year. The real problem is going to be if he pitches that many outs and that many innings. But as you see, the walks 3, 4, 4, 2, and he's susceptible to those big walk games. And on the road, they're worse. So Jack Leiter, this is a fun plus money, and maybe it'll make our parlay with the 1.5. But Jack Leiter, 3+ walks, plus 150, Caesars. All right, so for everybody, because we went through every single game, now we're going to backtrack to fill out these DraftKings slips and get a boosted parlay going and go on with the rest of our day. But like I mentioned, our plays: Milwaukee money line minus 152, Houston money line minus 125, Cleveland money line minus 120, Tampa Bay LAD over 9 minus 105, Will Smith home run plus 520 FanDuel boost, Tyler Anderson under 4.5 Ks, Jack Leiter 3+ walks. All right, so now pulling out my phone, we're going to go back and we're going to find DraftKings boost. So just to read out what the boost is, what I have, at least, I have a 15% DraftKings boost on a 3+ leg MLB parlay, same game parlay, or SGPX bet. Okay, so we already put a short list together of some guys, one being Augustine Ramirez double. let's see. Pull up Rodon. He has allowed, let's see, we'll pull up a hitter here. We're going to look at Augustine Ramirez. 310 on the doubles. Rodon has allowed 16 doubles to right-handed bats this year. DraftKings odds 310 as the DVIG. I'm putting that as the first play in the slip. Augustine Ramirez, 2-bagger. I'm pulling up my DraftKings on my phone here. There we go. Batter props. Doubles over under. Augustine Ramirez plus 320 now on DK. That's going to be the first leg of that parlay. It's a 3-legger, so we got 2 more. Let's go back to Toronto. We said we were looking at Bo Bichette. And I think there's nothing that's been like looking at me like, oh, we should take this instead. Bichette doubles, 32 on the year. Waka has allowed only 7 doubles against right-handed batters, but I don't think that's necessarily like indicative of what he is going to do or not do. Bichette, 20 of his doubles against right-handed pitching. KC has a good pen, but we're in Toronto. I'm adding that to the slip as well. So that's 2 of the 3 legs. We're going to have a nice plus chicken parlay here. And I know where I want to go. It's 285 over on DK for a double. Best odds are Caesars. DK says 290 here, but it's 285. More value than FanDuel. So that's going to be 2 of the legs. And I want to go to Coors for this final leg. I think this is a good spot here. We're going, or actually we'll do this. Let's because it could be more than 3 legs, as we know. I love that lighter walks. Pitcher props. If this could be added at plus, let's see, walks allowed. Jack Leiter 2 plus is minus 190. This parlay right now, as it stands, comes out to 27-23. Now we can add again in this game. What's an O'Neal Cruz double? Cruz is only 15 doubles this year, so yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. Tovar, Tawaglio. What's Jake Beck double? I'm curious if he's another guy who's more home runs than doubles. No, he's still got more doubles than dingers this year against lefties. Same thing. Doubles allowed for Heaney. Righties have been hitting him to the gaps, as you can see. Do we get super crazy here and add a Beck double, or we can just add bases to make it quote unquote safer, which I hate saying because it doesn't really mean anything, but I'll use your guys' lingo. It's minus 105. That brings the boost to 54.26. So I love, to be honest, and I kind of really want to bet. We have Augustine Ramirez to hit a double, Bo Bichette to hit a double, Jack Leiter, 2+ walks, Jordan Beck, 2+ bases, plus 54.26. I have $10 max boost. I hate that this light you can't really see. It's not focusing in, but boys, I bet it. We are in. We are in, locked and loaded. That is the DraftKings boost for today. They have the home run no sweat. Let me take a look at that. Then we'll bet future. We'll finish talking against some deadline. We'll finish talking some deadline as well. Home run. Is there? Let's do this. Actually, we'll go through some of props.cash's other feeds. If you guys are not using props.cash, by the way, you could save 30% on your first month with promo code BetSmart. One of the best player prop research tools. Is officially football season, so now is definitely a time to use that promo code to save yourself 30% on your first month. So promo code is BetSmart. Home runs, let's see. Any streaks going? Not that, it's only one game, I was going to say. Not that this matters, but I'm just curious. BVP barrel percentage again. 100% barrels on very small sample sizes. Not meaningful stuff, but it just is curiosity kind of driving me here. Let's look at some of the odds. Longest odds: Nick Allen, Xavier Edwards, Luis Ariz, Dylan Carlson. Because if we're going for, I mean, Graham Pauley, he went yard the other day. What was that, his first of the year, though? How many does he have this year? He's not even in the lineup that was shown. Let's see if Underdog has it confirmed, but maybe he's not the way to go. So we can get cheeky. It's a no sweat. So, oh, Springer on the 7-day IL concussion. Oh, he got hit with that pitch the other day. I forgot about that. He is officially going into the IL there. Good to know for any bettors. Okay, let's see. Back to odds here. BVP home runs. We have Olsen, who sees. Who are they playing? Oh, they're playing as we speak. I was going to say, I was like, we didn't talk about the Braves today because they play at 12 today. Seti, no, Julio. On fire Julio against Jack Leiter. 2 home runs against Leiter. 3 Ks. Do we make this a 2-legger? Do we make this a 2-legger? I think we do. I think we do. All right, let me pull up DK. Mariners, Rangers, Julio Rodriguez, home runs. That's 1. We can parlay this out, so we'll find one more leg. Where were we looking before? Do we do the Ohtani Julio? It's only 13-1, but it's a no sweat. No sweat. We should probably go a little bit more aggressive, but I like it. Boom. Locked in. Ohtani Julio for the no sweat. Now, I know we have a crazier bet on the parlay than versus the no sweat. But that is 13-1. Julio home run and Ohtani home run. SGP. Not SGP. Just parlay. DK. No sweat. No sweat, no sweat, no sweat, no sweat, no sweat, and we are locked in. So now, boys, we'll finish up. I'll do another run through of the games, but there's also the 33% futures boost on DK. So let's lock in a future here. Let's lock in. So for everybody that is new, we have a lot of new viewers. So shout out to everybody coming in. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Roger says 4K, so he just turned the hell up in that last half inning. So that's probably going to be a dub to start the day. A dub as in an L, not a W, unfortunately. We took the under there. We have Milwaukee money line, Bichette double in the boost, Houston money line, Cleveland money line, Augustin Ramirez double in the boost, Tampa Bay LED over 9 runs, Will Smith home run with the FanDuel boost, Tyler Anderson under 4.5 Ks, Jack Leiter 3+ walks plus 150 at Caesars, home run parlay with Ohtani and Julio. That's a no sweat, and we have the 15% boost on the 4-leg parlay that we took. We have Augustin Ramirez double, Bo Bichette double, Leiter 2 walks, Jordan Beck 2 bases. So that is a 54-1 banger. So let's talk futures and let's finish futures with the future. So we have a 33% boost on futures markets. Max bet $5, which is just ridiculous from DraftKings for me. If you guys have more coin on those boosts, use them. Hold on. Shout out to Chalk. Chalk sent me up. I appreciate you tuning in, Chalk. All right, so let's go to the futures market. I am pulling up on my actually I can pull up DraftKings here, but I'm logged in on my phone so I can bet because I have location problems sometimes, but we'll see what's going on. There we go. Okay. So MLB futures. I'm a big fan of what Texas did. I'm a big fan of what Seattle did. Um, let's see, anything divisions. I don't think any of these teams come back and take over. I think Toronto has this locked. This is where things can get interesting. I don't think Texas though can do what they need to do to come back and get that spot. I'm looking at standings. My other computer just don't want to lag out here. Texas 5.5 out, but it's not like Houston didn't improve, and Seattle, of course, improved as well, and they're a game above Texas. Mets here, I like. This one here, I like the Cubbies still. Dodgers, I still do like as well. Leagues, there's no way the Tigers win the NL or the AL. I say no way, as in my obviously my humble opinion, because what do I really know? But I think that there's no way. I could see Texas coming back and winning. I could see Seattle, of course, but I do have exposure already. Toronto, I think, with that Bieber deal was really good for them. I really like that signing. That really does bolster their staff. But okay, I think this is where I'm going with it. San Diego Padres. So I'm betting the Padres to win the West. I did this last year. Then I was able to hedge out and still confirm a profit in that series against the Dodgers. And then I took the Dodgers to beat the Yankees. And it was a good World Series for your boy. 2 years in a row. Had Texas 2 years ago. Had Dodgers last year. So I'm trying to keep that streak alive. But it did take some market, I'm not going to say like manipulation. But just some pivots here and there. But I am taking the Padres with the boost. It's a 33% boost, so at 14.63 for the Padres to win the NL. My max bet is unfortunately $5, but bet placed. We are in. So that's that. 33% boost for the Padres to win the NL. Other bets we have today: no sweat. Julio home run, Ohtani home run, 4-leg parlay for DraftKings boost. Ramirez double, Augustine Ramirez, Marlins double, Bichette double, Leiter 2+ walks, Beck 2+ bases. That is 54.26. And then one last time for the boys: Milwaukee money line, Houston money line, Cleveland money line, Tampa Bay LAD over 9, Will Smith home run with FanDuel boost plus 520, Tyler Anderson under 4.5 Ks minus 130, and Jack Leiter 3+ walks plus 150 at Caesars. So that is a absolute massive slate. Shout out to props.cash for all the player prop research. I wouldn't have been able to get some of these bets or find the value or anything that I like without the amazing props.cash. So if you guys want to try it for yourself, promo code BetSmart will save you 30% off your first month. It's an amazing player prop research tool, amazing BVP data, wind, pitch mix, BVP, splits, spray chart, recent at-bats against the pitcher, pitcher and hitter splits, line chopping for best odds, of course, hit rate charts with amazing filters and alternate lines, pertinent data that you can filter in as well, lineup info, some important stats like ISO and WOBA, less 15, 30 against the right side, alternate lines, pitch mix, historical lines, projections. They have everything, and sooner than later, we're going to be on this screen in the next week or so talking some football, because it is absolutely that time. I'm probably late to the party. I know there's a ton of football streams going on. There was a game last night in the Hall of Fame game, which got everybody's juices flowing. But this is it. We're officially in August. We're officially in football season. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I'll see you guys tomorrow and Sunday. I'm streaming tomorrow and Sunday with Pick the Odds. Amazing tool as well. Follow me on Twitter. I really appreciate it at GoBetSmart. If you can help grow our following, that'd be great. Also on YouTube, you can subscribe at GoBetSmart. TikTok, Instagram at GoBetSmart. We are putting out some amazing content. I've been saying this for a week now because we've had our editor got sick, so we had to do a little bit of a delay. But we do already have a backlog of a bunch of different videos ready to go live reviewing sports betting tools. So check out betsmart.co for everything sports betting tools related. Props.cash, promo code BetSmart, and follow me on all socials at GoBetSmart. I really appreciate you all. Have a great Friday. See you all on stream